Hi everyone, it's Vicki and Annette from Minerva, and we're back again this week to talk all things sewing bee. So last night's episode was Kids Week, and I think this was the 6th episode, so we're over halfway through now, aren't we? And I think you can definitely, you can feel it that there's less contestants every week now, can't you? And I always like this stage because I feel like we get to know them individually a little bit more. But yeah, what did you think of last night's episode?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favourite episodes. I
think I said last week that I used to think, Children's Week. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Well, before we get stuck in though, tell us what you're wearing, Mum.
I am wearing a New Look 6507 with a single frill rather than a double frill as it has on the pattern. And the fabric is our exclusive Palm Plantation.
And that's the viscose chalet fabric.
It's the viscose chalet.
And this is your go-to holiday dress pattern, isn't it? You love it, don't you?
I love it. This one is quite long, and I don't know whether you can see, but I added a frill round the bottom. So it is quite long. It's lovely and floaty.
I'm thinking the viscose chalet, it's so breathable in this heat, isn't it? So
it is, and I thought with it being so hot, and I haven't put my holiday clothes away yet, so I thought I'd give it another
why not?
outing.
It's lovely. I love the black and white print. It's really nice.
And yourself?
And I'm wearing, it's a cashmere pattern. It's the Appleton dress, which is, so it's like a wrap over dress made in jersey fabric, so it's very, very comfortable. And this is our viscose jersey, Minerva exclusive. It's the painted bouquet print, which I just love this print. It's like a painting on fabric, isn't it?
Nice.
And it's because it's viscose, it's breathable, and because it's jersey, it's just really comfortable. And I don't cope well in the heat, so I need clothes that keep me cool. So shall we get stuck into it then? So let's talk about the pattern challenge then. So this week the contestants were asked to make a sequin bomber jacket, weren't they? Which was lined. It had ribbon details at the neck, the waist and the cuffs. It had a zip fastening.
Chunky zip.
Chunky open end zip. And again, the main, standout feature was the fact it was sewn in sequin fabrics.
Which isn't easy.
No, and I think they were given 3 hours, so it's quite a tall ask for a lined sequin jacket, isn't it? But I think they all did a very good job.
When they were all lined up, I thought, well done.
I am a bit of a sucker for anything that sparkles. I love sequin fabrics. And the last thing I made was like a short sort of A-line-ish skirt that I wore on holiday. We went on a girls' holiday, didn't we? I wore it then, and I love sequins. So that challenge was right up my street. It made me want a bomber jacket. Never mind making one for a child. So who did you think did well then? Who's your favourite?
Well, obviously Ailsa.
She's coming into her own, Ailsa, isn't she?
She is. And Alex, she came second. Didn't she? Ailsa's, I was a little bit knocked, for want of a better word, because Patrick went like this, showing the neckband, and on that side, it was that far off where it should have been. And he said, the neck's very good, and then continued the rest of it with his hand over it.
All right, okay.
And I even rewound it about 3 or 4 times to make sure, you know what I'm like. And then he went on to Susie's was the next one, with the exact same, she'd sewn it exactly the same. And he mentioned it.
It's all in the edit though, Mum. You get too wound up about these things.
I get too involved.
You do, you really do. But it does sometimes seem a little bit unfair when they pick up something on one and not on another, but it's all in the edit, isn't it? Well, you don't know how that went, do you? But I think the bit that I really liked on them was the ones that used different sequin fabrics for the sleeves and the main body. I thought that was really lovely. And I honestly, I just love them all. I think I'm just such a sucker for sequin fabric. And
who did the see-through one with the pink lining?
Georgie, wasn't it?
Who actually went home, didn't she? But like Patrick, when he pulled it down, you could tell the lining hadn't been sewn down, so... if it had been finished, it would have been fab.
Yeah, I think we're getting to that stage now, though, aren't we, where they're all like maybe just getting into the swing of it. I guess, you know, the best of the sewers are left, you know, so it's becoming harder and harder. They've got to become more picky, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I guess for Georgie's in that, I mean, some of the others didn't finish the lining, did they? But because hers was see-through, I suppose it was extra
it sort
obvious.
of showed more, didn't it?
But then, you know, she was the one that kind of had the guts to go for a sequin fabric that was see-through.
Yeah,
so
and give it that little different
something
vibe.
a bit different. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to have a go at making your own bomber jacket, then we've found some really good patterns this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've also got some ribbons to show you and a really cool stack of sequin fabrics that I went a little bit mad on, but we've got some really gorgeous ones at Minerva. So so we'll start with the patterns first. So we've got 3 different ones, and I've kind of chosen for different age ranges. So the first one is Burda 9349, and this is for, well, babies from 6 months old right through to 3 years. So for a younger child, I think this is a really good pattern.
Yeah.
And it's so similar to the one last night. It's got a zip fastening, it's got ribbon around the neck, the cuffs and the waist.
Yeah.
And what I liked about this pattern as well, you've also got a hooded option. Which is just nice to have, isn't it?
Of course.
And then it also comes with like little jogger pants, so you can make some of them to match in like a sweatshirt fabric or something, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was really lovely.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got McCall's 7619, and this is a bomber jacket, a unisex bomber jacket. Well, they're all unisex patterns, aren't they? But this one is for an older child. So with 2 different size bands on this, we've got ages 3 to 6. In one size pattern, and then 7 to 14 in another. Yeah. So that covers younger children through to like young teenagers.
Yeah. I like the pockets in that.
Yeah, you have a few more options with this one, I suppose.
And are they epaulets or?
I think it's just a panel at the shoulder, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you have 3 different views.
I really like that one.
They all have the chunky zip fastening. They've all got the ribbon, the same as the one last night. Nice sort of pocket details. You've got a couple of different pocket details with Abby, which I suppose you probably wouldn't do that in sequin, but it's nice to have it if you were going to make it again in the future.
That's it, you could certainly use it more than once, couldn't you?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It gives you quite a lot of ideas on there, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then, because if you're like me and you would love a sequined bomber jacket for yourself as well, we have an adult pattern. So this one is McCall's 7637, and yeah, this is a unisex bomber jacket, really, really popular pattern. Again, it's got the neckband, waist and cuff ribbon details, chunky zip. It's got different pocket options, and it also has a hooded option on this as well, and it has an option with a collar detail as well. So even I think that's probably the most the most options in one pattern in that one. So yeah, some really good pattern bomber jacket options there. Then should we talk about ribbon next? So you've different options with the ribbon now. You have fabric that you can buy that comes in a tubular rib, which is ribbing fabric. And that's the sort of, if you're going to buy fabric off a roll, that's the type you want for neckband details, because it has a lot of recovery in that fabric, and it's a little bit thicker as ribbon generally than a standard rib fabric, which is rib fabric is the type that comes on normal width that you'd cut your whole garment out of. Ribbing is the type that you'd use for trim details. But then we also have, which is what they used last night, we have these really funky pre-cut cuffing packs. So it's, these are pre-cut. I mean, like this one you can see is a length about so big. Hopefully you can see that on camera. And obviously it's pre-cut to that sort of width for you ready. And with these ones, I mean, hopefully you'll be able to see on camera, like we've got some really fun, stripy, colourful ones, a lot like what they used last night. If you're buying ribbing fabric off a roll, yes, we have stripy designs, but they're like an all-over stripe. Whereas these ones, you can get really funky colours in them.
Some are quite funky, some are quite more like neutrally soft colours.
And we have plain ones in these as well. So we've a whole selection of those on the website, but we just pulled a few out today, didn't we, to show you a few different ones. But yeah, if you search cuffing on the website, and obviously we'll put links below this video to all these as well. So loads of options with those, and then let's get on to the sequin fabrics there.
Yes.
So I've got a few what we class as what are Minerva core range fabrics. So this one on the mannequin here, which is a tiny little all over sequin, and that comes in loads of different colours. But I picked the pink because I thought it was like the one Susie I think used last night.
Ah, right,
Yeah, similar to that.
Yeah.
Then the next core range we've got is this one, which this is a little bit heavier, this fabric, but this one is actually a holographic sequin. So hopefully you can see on camera just how that shimmers and catches the light. It's really, really cool sequin fabric, isn't it? And I can't remember who now, but one of the contestants used a turquoise last night, so I thought this was quite similar, give you a similar look. But this one again comes in loads of different colours.
Beautiful.
I'll just move that one there. Then we've got a mermaid sequin, and what mermaid sequin means is it's one of those types of fabrics that flips. So if I hold that up there,
with this all the time.
You can see the bit I've just flipped there, and it's silver on one side, multicolour on the other. It's so cool, and I think for a child's bomber jacket, I mean, they just have so much fun with one of these, wouldn't they?
Everybody would be.
Yeah. And then this fabric, this is like the pastel multicolour, but it also comes in 2 other colourways as well. So that's a really fun one. I'll just hold that up a little bit more, so you can see that multicolour. Then, in fact, actually, I've got another multicoloured one here. So this again is one that is a mermaid one that just, it's like a reversible sequin. It's amazing, isn't it? Oh, I think, and I love the like the rainbow colour on this one. I think that's really just
really
fun.
nice,
and for a child, I mean, how cool. It's so lovely. Then this one I've got out.
So
dainty and pretty, isn't it? Yeah. So this one's on more of like a mesh base cloth, and it actually has like a little like a lurex sort of thread that runs through it as well, that almost has like little tufts of that thread that come out the surface, so that gives it texture. But then you've got this rainbow pastel multicolour sequin across the surface as well, so it's less dense sequin, but the sequins do cover, the whole surface, don't they? So I think, it's just a very, like you said, pretty, just lighter colourway.
Yeah, definitely.
I can maybe see that as more of like a summery jacket, with some of the darker ones maybe more like wintry perhaps. Wow. Then we've got 3 really funky, like patterned sequin fabrics. So we'll start with this one, which I think is similar to what Georgie used last night. And this is actually a stripe sequin fabric. So if we hold that out. Whoa. How really cool is that? And this, just like Georgie's last night, it is sheer in the background because it's on a mesh base. So obviously, you'd want to line it just as she did last night.
I mean, for me, that would look lovely just against your skin.
Yeah, for on
and
like
maybe
a top
just
or
wear
something.
A little bodysuit or a little vest
camisole
top
or
under
something.
Camisole.
Yeah, if you're making a top, but for a bomber jacket, you'd want to line it, wouldn't you? Really, really lovely. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Then we've got. This one is quite a new fabric into us at Minerva. I love this fabric. I mean, I love anything with a peacock feather on it. But how gorgeous is this fabric? So it's a peacock feather sequined design. So the whole design is created with, sequins.
That really is beautiful.
It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? I really want to make something in this. I mean, a bomber. I think as well with sequin fabrics, we can often be so, we'll make something for a special occasion, or something that we're gonna wear every so often, not often. Yeah. But a bomber jacket, you'd actually wear it all the time. You could wear it every day, couldn't you? And why not wear sequins? I mean, it would be such a designer piece in something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It really is beautiful.
And it's turquoise as well, which I'm always sold with turquoise fabric.
I am.
And then lastly, another really funky, multicoloured one. So you'll see with this, isn't that just the most fun sequin fabric ever? All these sort of like splodges. You could almost see an animal print in it maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously really multicoloured.
That really is.
Really.
Spectacular.
It is. It's spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, there's some fun sequin fabrics if you want to create your own bomber jackets.
Yeah.
So for the transformation challenge then, so this week the challenge was to make an animal themed fancy dress costume for a toddler, and they could only use 2 beach towels, no other fabric, but they were allowed to use any sort of haberdashery that they wanted.
And felt was included in that, wasn't it?
And they had 1.5 hours again to do it, didn't they? I absolutely loved this challenge. I mean, I'm always the first to say that the transformations are not my favourite, but this, I think it was Patrick said that's one of his favourite challenges in the whole history of Sewing Bee. Yeah,
they all look.
I would totally agree with that. As one of the most fun challenges and just most entertaining to watch of all of them.
Definitely.
I mean, Pasha won, didn't she? With that crocodile or alligator, I think she called it. Oh my goodness! I mean, how cool was that? And to have done that in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the detail of the teeth made him felt, how she constructed that head.
Yeah.
Even like the little sort of like pointy bits that went down the back.
Yeah.
Like, all that in an hour and a half.
I mean, do they have an insight into what they're going to make?
I don't think
for that?
so. No.
Because I don't know, they go running over to the racks with the toweling.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't. I'd be stood there.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do.
Some people are just better at coming up quickly with creative things. So I'm just so amazed like she came up with that in that time.
So well done to them for the, you know, if it's as instant as that, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I think Alex's lion, she'd used boning, hadn't she, for all like the bits that kind of came from the headband. That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, Luke's fish.
Oh, yeah.
Like they'd use like the whole of the hood, if you will, for the mouth of the fish, hadn't they? Oh, brilliant. And then the bag of chips with it, fish and chips.
That absolutely.
Yeah, that just it just added some it like took it up another notch, didn't it? That bag of chips, absolutely.
And
brilliant.
was it Patrick or was it Esme that just went fish and chips?
Yeah, so good.
I had to laugh at that.
I thought Ilsa's Dalmatian, that was really good. So that was the white towel with the big black spots, and like, I think she did the ears really well.
Yeah,
and
with the pink insert.
Yeah, that detail. And it had like a little like toy bone accessory she'd made, and that little like dog lead in red.
That was fab.
Just absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Georgie's butterfly. I mean, I know it scored last place, but I mean it was still a pretty good
still
one, wasn't
lovely.
it? Again,
absolutely.
It's just the competitions got harder last week, didn't it? So good was no longer sort of, you know, safe to keep you from the bottom, was it?
And then there were Marcus did the frog.
Didn't he? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The eyes. Sorry, not the ears. The eyes were pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really good. And then Susie's swan. I thought it's quite funny. I like the eyes on it. Was just really cute. And then it had the little like sort of feet thing she'd made for it. It didn't come out quite as like
not what she
a
expected.
swan like as the others, but as a fancy dress costume,
it was fab. They
absolutely.
all were.
Yeah, they really
did
good.
So
I really
well,
enjoyed
that.
Yeah. So I think as well, like a challenge like that kind of shows a different side to sewing. You know, not everything has to be perfection, something that, you know, we'll wear ourselves, but to make things for kids, to make things just as fancy dress costumes, you can have so much fun and creativity, and you know, that's what sewing's about for a lot of people, isn't it?
It is.
So yeah, in terms of, you know, sort of making your own, we just wanted to mention that we do have our cotton toweling range at Minerva, don't we? And I do think making it in toweling, I mean, they obviously use beach towels, didn't they, which you could use if you had any like old ones to upcycle. But I think just using a toweling fabric was a really good idea. It has a little bit of give. It's got that fun texture, which is nice for animals.
Absolutely.
We'll hold it out here. And this is one of our core ranges, so we stock this in a gazillion colours. Every colour you can imagine we have at Minerva. I just took the green out because it reminded me of the crocodile, and the frog. But yeah, this is a really lovely. I mean, it's a real luxury pure cotton. What is this? So you know, you could make dressing gowns and
lovely.
All sorts in it really, but you know, you could absolutely use it in fancy dress, and
it has that bit of give both
just
ways
it's not a stretch fabric, but it has a little bit of give, doesn't it?
Fab.
So just thought I'd mention we have that in case anyone wants to make their own. So finally then, the third challenge, the made to measure. So this one was a little bit different this week, wasn't it? So the challenge was to take a photo from the childhood and recreate a new outfit for a child, like sort of inspired by that photograph, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just leaves them completely wide open to basically make anything for a child, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which I quite liked the open-endedness, but I bet they felt a little bit like, oh, well, I could almost do anything. But I thought, well, they had 3 hours, didn't they? Which
they could do some preparation, couldn't
yeah, because I think, was it Georgie? I heard her saying that she'd pre-cut it at home.
Yes.
Because I remember Patrick saying like, oh, how are you going to make sure in your boiler suit that, like, you know, the crotch length and the height is right? And she said, well, I've already cut it and I've no spare fabric, didn't she? Which, I mean, I guess they get the measurements beforehand, don't they? And there's not a right lot they can do if they've got to cut it at home without the model there,
exactly,
is there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they all did a really good job, actually. Yeah, I loved the variety. I loved seeing the photograph that it was inspired by. Who's your favourite then?
I liked the boiler suits.
Yes, I did. I think they were really successful, weren't they?
I loved Luke's.
Yeah, I loved Luke's.
The blue and the yellow
really
pockets,
well.
they did.
I think with Luke's,
Absolutely.
they were very harsh on the judging.
I thought so too.
I don't think they deserved some of that critique.
Thought so.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job. I know there was that bit with the pocket.
Yeah, and the collar was a little bit messy.
Yeah. But the overall look, I mean, it was so cool, wasn't it?
So cool.
And I think Luke, like, when they were talking at the end, you know, to camera, you know, they were a bit, they seemed a bit sort of like, you know, downhearted with it. They said, you know, Kids Week isn't really my week. But I think, you know, Luke did a really good job.
They fitted it really well on the child.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
looked great coming down.
Yeah, just the blue and the yellow pop. Yeah. Well, it really did pop on screen, did it? Fantastic.
I just thought brilliant.
Marcus's, so the other boiler suit, the one with all the patches on it, in like the creamy colour.
Just a shame they were coming off.
Yeah, but with that, what it'll have been as well, because he said when he ironed them on, they went on really well, didn't they? But as we know, because we sell iron-on patches here at Minerva, you've got to leave, once they're ironed on, you've got to leave them for a few hours to completely cool down before you start moving them. If you do that, they'll stay on. Yeah. But obviously, he had 3 hours.
There was no way he could do that.
He had to iron it and then move it straight away, and that's why they started peeling off, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's the same principle as with iron-on interface.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to leave that so the heat completely removes from it, haven't you? Yeah. But I thought the poppers he added down the front, which it looked like they were using the new Prim Vario Creative tool. Yes. Which you've got one at home, haven't you? Yeah. Fantastic tool.
We share it, don't we?
Well, yeah, but it's at your house, isn't it? But yeah, fantastic tool. We love it, don't we? Yeah. But yeah, I thought the press studs looked really cool. I loved the addition of all the patches. And I kind of liked the cream colourway. Like, it looked very like astronauty, didn't it?
I did, definitely,
really nice.
Who
else did you like?
So there were Elsa with the shiny green dress.
Oh, wasn't it a shame about the hole from the overlocker?
I could have cried for her.
You so felt it for her, didn't you? Because, you know, we've all done it, haven't we? And what do you do in that moment? You know, at home, you know, you'd maybe take a bit of time. Is there anything that I can fix it? You'd cut a new piece, but I mean, she didn't have time to do any of that. No, she didn't. Did she?
And possibly, if she'd cut it out at home, maybe she had no spare fabric either.
Yeah, so, exactly. And plus, as well, she'd done all that stitching detail. Like, she'd done all that work at that point. She'd done that,
because it was when she was sewing the sleeve in, wasn't it? When she cut it.
Yeah, and I loved like the organza fabric she used. I thought the high-low hem was. I mean, I suppose it would have been a bit more dramatic if it had been a bit lower at the back.
Yeah, but I don't think it took it away from the dress.
I suppose it's one of those things. If Patrick says something like that to you, then you've really got to go to town on it. I suppose
it really is their view.
It's a matter of taste, isn't it? Yeah.
What about Alex's blue dungarees?
Oh, the velvet dungarees.
And the green and white spotted jumper.
Yeah. Well, I thought the fact that she made a top and the dungarees that coordinated so well together made a really really well thought out overall outfit.
Yeah, and when the child was walking towards the camera,
yeah,
I thought it looked really good.
I did.
My first thoughts.
I liked the colour combinations.
Yeah.
The top stitching, now I really liked that it was in green to match the top, but I got the point about top stitching on velvet. Either she needed a thicker thread, perhaps, maybe that would have helped, or should she have maybe sewn it in cotton twill or something other than velvet?
Now, I saw it different.
All right.
For me, it was like it was giving it a slight 3D effect.
Yeah.
Not everybody will have seen that, because my very first thought was that it had been top stitched in like a
variegated thread,
either a variegated or like something that was shimmery.
Right. Yeah.
And
so you liked the effect then?
I did.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing. It was just a shame she messed up at the side there.
Yeah, there was just that little bit of an issue, wasn't there? But yeah, overall great outfit. And having said should she have done it in a cotton twill, for the top stitching, but at the end of the day, the velvet, like she was saying, what a special pair of dungarees for a kid.
Absolutely.
You'd love to wear these as a child, wouldn't you? And I agree with that. Yeah,
definitely. So who else was there?
There was Pasha's skirt and top that looked like a dress that had the ruffles.
Oh yes.
Was
that a skirt?
Or was it not?
Susie's was a skirt, wasn't it?
Okay, maybe it was just a skirt then. But it was mainly about the ruffles, wasn't it? But it was about the ruffles, wasn't it? So blue and white.
It.
Yeah, very fresh looking, very modern. I didn't necessarily agree with Patrick when he said that extra ruffle isn't needed. I think it kept the line to make it look like a dress.
Absolutely,
I think that was like an unnecessary comment, really.
Yeah.
They mentioned They mentioned about the lime green top stitching, didn't they? And it doesn't matter about the lime green top stitching and it matching the waistband. That was really lovely.
Yeah.
I think she was right to add that extra ruffle to the length. I think the length and everything balanced really well.
Yeah, it did. And then the different colour, it did have the pink ties,
yes,
didn't
that threaded through.
And I thought they just set it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good,
and then is it just Susie left after that?
I think.
Just
Susie's,
Yeah,
I did agree with.
and George's as well. I've got hers as well.
I did agree with Esme that the panel at the front should have come up. It was lying low.
Yeah.
And then also the placement of the piece of denim should have gone nearer the bottom.
But she said it was meant to, wasn't it? She got it wrong way around, hadn't she?
So that was just unfortunate.
I think for me it was just, if I'm honest, a little bit underwhelming, that outfit. I think if she'd had more time and the patchwork pieces could have been smaller,
like she said.
And maybe like those stripes on the side of the top, if they'd actually been patchwork pieces, maybe it would have felt a bit more something to it. It wasn't really a night last night, Susie, was it? But I think the overall idea was there. It just wasn't maybe quite executed in the time, was it?
Yeah.
And then George's, I really liked George's.
The two shades of denim that came down. And when Patrick said there should be top stitching there, why? Why should there be?
It certainly didn't spoil it for not having top stitching there.
I just thought it looked fab. It made, the darker denim had the top stitching. The lighter denim didn't.
Yeah, and I really they didn't mention the pocket detail so much with the zip. I thought that were a really nice little detail.
I
mean, they talked about this white thing that was on the original inspiration photo, and Patrick said he really missed that, but I didn't even really get what it was anyway, so I thought, I didn't miss it.
No, I didn't miss
I
it.
thought, because when Georgie came away from the judging and she was talking to camera, she was like, they were very underwhelmed with it, and I thought she got a bit of a bad rap, like Luke did, really. I actually really liked it. So in terms of patterns, we have actually found a few patterns this week that are pretty similar to what the contestants used. So if you're looking to make a boiler suit, which, there was George's, Luke's and Marcus's that all made boiler suits, wasn't there? Or jumpsuits, whatever you want to call them. So we've a couple of different pattern options. So we have, let me find it on my notes here. So Luke's, the first one rather is the Fibre Mood Indigo jumpsuit, and we'll insert some images as we go through so you can see the patterns. And yeah, that is just a very like utility looking kind of boiler suits.
Yeah.
So you could absolutely make something similar in those.
They seem to fall into two categories, don't they?
Yeah, more jumpsuits and more boiler suits. Utility,
yeah.
The other one, which is a pattern that has quite a few options on it, is McCall's 8461 that we thought was quite similar to George's. But yeah, got a few different options on that, and it has like sort of like a draw waist around the middle, which I guess is a little bit different. But yeah, really nice children's boiler suit patterns there. Alex's, so for the velvet, so for the dungarees rather, so we've got two different options of that, which are both quite similar. So we've got the Ikati Leon overalls, I think that's how you pronounce it, and then we've also got McCall's 7459, both just really kind of classic, good dungaree patterns for kids. You'll see on the McCall's one there's like a dress option as well as like the trouser leg dungarees, so like I guess a pinafore dress, and then the Ikati one, that's a really popular pattern, really nice dungaree pattern, good. That one. With Susie's, so she definitely did make a skirt, didn't she? And with that one we found McCall's pattern 6918, and that's it's got like loads and loads of different views on that pattern that are all slightly different skirts or skirts over shorts. So yeah, like if you like, I mean I would have liked that idea as a kid, because I mean I dressed very like girly frills, skirts over the top. I love those sorts of clothes, didn't I, as a kid? So a skirt I would have loved, but to have shorts underneath for practicality, so I think it's a really good idea. For Ailsa's, we've struggled a little bit with Ailsa's. We didn't find something just the same, but we've got Simplicity 8998, and you'll see from the line drawing it has like a raglan sleeve which kind of imitated that shape of her dress last night. It's got, you know, long sleeves, and then, you know, like a gathered sort of skirt going into that line at the top. So it's similar.
You could make it from it.
You could. I mean, it doesn't have the high-low hem.
Manoeuvring.
Yeah, it doesn't have the high-low hem, so you'd need to adjust for that. And yeah, it's going to give you a similar look. Pasha's, so we've got Butterick 4503, and that again, it's got the top detail has that tie bit that threads through, so it looks very similar to what she used. And then the skirt or skirt option with that. And I think, have I covered everyone there? Yes, I think I have.
Did you notice Pasha's blouse that she was wearing?
I can't say I did, unless
it was an ivory fabric, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And here, it was done with satin stitch on the machine.
Right.
Was a little cat's head.
Oh,
just the outline.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's a couple of paws.
Right.
And then it was as if the cat was lying round the back of her neck, and here it was two, the back paws and the tail.
Oh, okay. I wonder if she made it.
And I would love to know.
Yeah.
It was fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really into cats, but I loved that.
Yeah, so I think when you make something like that, do something so unique. I mean, it's really special, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, as we do every week, we'll chat about what we would have made if we were going to be doing the made to measure.
Yeah.
So this one was obviously a little bit different, because we were thinking like, well, what childhood like memory or photo would we base it on?
They did have time to look for some.
We kind of had this morning.
We've had to use in memories, haven't we? Because
So do you want to go first then, describing yours?
Yeah. So when I was about 12,
yeah,
I had it was like a suit. It was a jacket and skirt that my mum bought me.
Right.
And it was in, from memory, like a sort of a denim type cream fabric.
Yeah.
And
a bit like this.
Yeah.
This is our cream denim.
This is our
core range at Minerva.
So we're pretending that is the jacket. And then it had a red open end zip down the centre, and it had a collar. And if I remember rightly, it had red top stitching on well,
nice.
Round the collar, and it had two pockets. with zips in them, like so. I don't know whether you can see that.
Yeah, near enough.
Just about, can't you? Now, I loved that jacket. I wore it and wore it and wore it, and it was big enough to take me through probably till I was about 14. It also had a skirt, and it was just like a very, very slight A-line.
Yeah.
And that got shortened and shortened and shortened as the minis went higher and higher. In the early 70s, that skirt went higher and higher, but I even wore the jacket a lot just on its own.
Right, yeah.
So that's my sort of one of my fond memories from something I wore as a child. But finding patterns was another story. But the paper cut Remy shirt, sort of, I think possibly because it's in cream, just gives you an idea of the style of the jacket. But you could use red poppers.
Yeah, instead of a zip.
Yeah. And the pockets you could do in the cream as they are, and do some red top stitching.
Yeah.
So that, and some nice shorts with it as well. I don't think they're on this pattern, but that's sort of a modern look of what I remember.
Yeah.
But then I thought, why not make it quite modern? You know, just take the colour idea from there and make one of these jackets.
Like a leather biker jacket.
Like a biker jacket.
So this is Simplicity 8027.
Sorry, yeah.
And we're looking at view D, aren't we, on this one?
So you could have your zip
on
a slant
asymmetric
there,
zip. Yeah.
Although it does give you a waistcoat, which I'm pretty sure you'd be able to put them sleeves in with just it up the front.
Yeah.
And that has like a patch pocket where you could put them on the slant again.
Yeah.
But I thought for a biker jacket, it would be a bit much having your pockets, you know, like so. So then I thought, what about having them up the sleeves?
Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought, what a good idea.
Yeah, very smart.
So that is mine.
Yeah,
a very favourite suit from when I was 12.
Yeah, that's really nice. Well, I've gone completely different.
And you couldn't get more different.
No, you
actually.
couldn't. Now, I mentioned before, didn't I, as a kid, especially as a young child. I mean, I love dressing in party dresses, and you made me several, didn't you?
I
as
did.
A kid?
Yeah.
And there's a
but
few.
The one you're gonna say,
was
although
I mean, I had a few favourites, but this was my favourite, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was. Well, it was a big full skirt dress.
Yes.
If you imagine almost like Victorian kind of like very, I don't know what the word is really, but just very kind of like over the top with all the decoration.
Yeah.
It was made in, it was like a satin back
Jupion, yes.
In a tealy colour, which is funny because I mean I love teal now, don't I? So, and it had lots of cream guipure lace on it, didn't it? A really wide lace.
It had a lace collar.
Oh yes, of course.
That I can always remember. It cost me a fortune because it was proper lace. Rather than it wasn't Broderie Anglais.
It was pure heavy lace, wasn't it?
Beautiful. And that was the little collar, and then I did a biased binding. Round the edge.
Right.
And then it was big puff sleeves.
Oh yeah, big puff sleeves. Oh,
which went out into a frill.
Yep.
And they had it was like a little cream.
Narrower lace.
Guipure lace. Round there.
And it's just the big skirt. It was gorgeous, wasn't it? The funny thing with it for such a beautiful ornate dress is I used to wear it with big clumpy purple trainers, didn't I? Which you used to say to me, like, "Are you sure, Vicky?" But I've been bought these trainers for my birthday, and I was adamant I was wearing them. So I
do remember you wearing it to a Christmas party.
Right. Okay.
And I actually got you to wear some little black patent boots. and little socks with the frill round.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was an underskirt part to it.
Yes, there was, yeah.
Because that showed under the dress. Very Victorian looking.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
and I
yeah,
used to say she lives up to her name, Victoria.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, in terms of searching for a pattern, I guess I just wanted to capture the essence of that feeling that you have as a little girl when you're wearing a big dress like that.
Yeah.
And I found Simplicity 9168, which is definitely different, but there's, some similarities, isn't there?
Yeah,
and
lovely puff sleeves on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the version I'm looking at isn't actually on the line drawing. It's View A, which is the dress the model is wearing.
In lemon.
Yeah, in lemon. And it's... What I really love about it, well, I think what I would do actually, I would take the puff sleeves off View A, because that just reminds me of the dress. But I love on the skirt section of View, the puff sleeve of View B and the skirt of View A, because it has these sort of like bunches that come up and then have little bows round them. I just think that's really,
like
really...
a foil.
Which leads me to my fabric choice. So, of course, I had to choose a teal satin back dupion because, it's what the dress was made of, isn't it? And
it was that could be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then then I've chose a chiffon fabric, and this is actually our cationic chiffon, which is a two-tone chiffon fabric. So in one light it looks a little bit more green, and another light a little bit more of a bluey teal. Yeah. So even though it's not like an absolute exact match, but I kind of like how it picks up the blue in the, and I just kind of think if it like sort of bunched up into sections, sort of like gathered up into little bunches, and then I thought maybe like a cream bow, like in lace, pure lace even maybe, or just in maybe, I don't know, satin ribbon, or even in like a dupion satin fabric to match, just bringing in that cream a little bit somehow. I thought that'd be
so pretty.
It'd be so pretty, wouldn't it? It makes me want to make an adult version and be able to wear that and have an excuse to wear it somewhere. Yeah, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I do actually think the skirt on B is very lovely as well.
It is, yeah. And even like the little, on the lemon, on the model, the like little cape effect.
Yeah, with the bow at the front. So that's lovely as well, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so we've gone for very, very different looks, haven't we? Yeah,
very different.
But it probably sums us both up as a child, that really, doesn't it? Me with big fancy party dresses, and you with more, I don't know, cool, trendy zip-up jackets. And
Again, I always remember with the all the other children had, like pretty cool, modern,
funky leggings on,
and then Vicki in this beautiful Victorian
way
dress.
over the top dress. Absolutely, why not?
But at least you did have the black patent boots.
Yeah, not my big.
Oh my goodness.
Bulky, comfy trainers. So then, back to last night's episode. So did you agree with Garment of the Week?
I did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and it's unusual for a transformation challenge thing to win Garment of the Week.
Very unusual.
But I mean, it was just so good, wasn't it?
Well worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And did you agree with who went home?
It's so hard.
Yeah. If I'm honest, I think probably Susie just about scraped by.
Scraped through.
But it was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, whoever went home could have gone on to next week and have a fabulous week.
Yeah, it's getting to that stage
now.
Yeah.
It's just a case of
one bad week and they are gone, aren't they?
And they're gone.
Yeah.
Because they're much of a muchness, aren't they now?
I think I'll miss, just like Lauren last week though, I'll miss Georgie now. I missed Lauren last night.
Yeah,
they were both good characters, weren't they?
We both did, didn't we?
Yeah. And I think Georgie will be the same. I think we'll miss her.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody's got to go. It's competition, isn't it? So yeah.
Any thoughts on who might win it?
I think in the final three it will be Luke, Pasha and Ilse. That's my guess.
Luke, Pasha and
I was thinking about that last night watching it. I think they'll be the three, but who knows? I didn't think Georgie would have gone this early, so...
No, but then you do set yourself, but who would have gone in her place?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and somebody's got to go, haven't they? So
unfortunately,
So that's it for Kids Week. Next week we're looking at Lingerie Week, aren't we? Which, I know it's another one I'm a little bit... But I'll probably enjoy it when it comes to it, but it's not...
I probably will. And there was a glimpse, wasn't there, of some of next week's garments.
Yes.
And they showed a few, like, bustiers.
Yeah, which, I mean, they're not easy
and I
to
thought,
sew,
wow.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Because, like, you've really got to get the fit right
Absolutely,
on that. I mean,
yeah.
fitting for another model, like, that
Yeah.
brings its own challenge, doesn't it? But yeah, I think they've got a sew pyjama top with piping for the pattern challenge.
Right.
But I mean, if they're looking at satin fabrics, like, that's going to be tricky in a short time allowance, isn't it?
Is, yeah.
The transformation challenge, I thought,
was that?
it's to take shapewear and lace, and then using the structure and the form of those fabrics, like, create a new outfit. I just think, what on earth would I do with that? I have no idea. So I will be intrigued to see what they can do with it.
And, you know, it doesn't matter what they end up sewing. It's always enjoyable.
Yeah,
isn't
absolutely,
it?
yeah.
You know,
and then the made to measure, so that, like you said, is bustier dresses.
Yeah.
And I think they want to see, like, fitted styles using boning, and so surely they're going to get a bit longer. You would hope.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah, but I think that the last challenge especially, though, I will look forward to seeing some beautiful dresses. Like that appeals to me.
Yeah. And there's only 6 of them left now, isn't there?
Yes, yeah. So we'll start getting a bit more airtime per person now, won't we? As we go forward. Yeah. So we'll look forward to next week then. Do let us know in the comments, what did you think of last night's episode? So did you agree with Garment of the Week? Who went home? What was your your favourite challenge of the 3? We'd love to hear from you. You could as well, let us know, what would you have made for that last challenge? What childhood photo or memory would you base it on, and what would you have made? I'd love to hear people's stories on that. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back again next week with another recap.
Yeah.